morning, good afternoon, good evening, maybe good night. Welcome to Taniya Yoga. Today, something different. You can see I'm sat on a chair. So today we're going to do some chair yoga. So this practice is good for people who may have injuries in their knees, who may have injuries in their hips, potentially sat down could be good, could not be good. Potentially you might be a little bit overweight, you might struggle to do the positions on the floor or get down, up and down on the mat. Or maybe you're just sat in your office at work and you want something to do that's maybe not quite so obvious as maybe rolling a mat out on the floor and hanging around in handstand for a while. So today's practice is going to be revolved around the chair. Even though we're using the chair, I want you to try and visualize or imagine in quite a lot of the poses that the chair is not there. The chair is an aid or a support. It's not to completely rely on. Although you are going to have quite a lot of your weight on the chair in various positions, I'm going to say, now, push the floor away. Try and imagine the chair wasn't there. So in that way, you're going to be strengthening the same way that you would in the full standing position, for example, but you've got that chair there for a little bit extra support. Today's sequence is going to be particularly about the strength and the flexibility of our legs. So we're going to be using our quadriceps, our hamstrings, a little bit through our calves, and also thinking about particularly quite a lot about the flexibility or the openness of our hips, so stretching the inside of our groins and the strength in the back of our glutes. So that is the idea of today's practice. Remember, you go at your rhythm, you go at your level. If there's anything that you love and you want to repeat for a little while longer, just pause and carry on. So, we're going to start to connect with the breath. So what I want you to do is I don't want you to be sat on the back of the chair. For now, I want you to come away from the back of the chair. So you're still obviously sitting on the chair. Try and have your heels under your knees. Try and loosely roll your shoulders back so you feel a bit of opening through your chest and you feel that your spine can be long. The reasons I don't want you to be on the back of the chair, one, it will restrict a little bit the breath in your back body, and the second reason is it gives you a chance to be a little bit lazy. When you're away from the back of the chair, you need to work through the spine, you need to engage through your back so you don't collapse and slump. So here in the seated position, your hands can be wherever feels good. They might be on your knees, together in prayer, or maybe your fingers interlaced in your lap. Whatever feels good, just start to connect with your breath. You can have your eyes closed or open. Whatever helps you start to internalize your thoughts. Start to prepare yourself for this practice. Start to enter in a slightly more meditative state. Let your chin very gently come towards your chest, just a tiny bit. One, to straighten the back of the neck, and two, to make it easier to connect a little bit more with Ujjayi breath. So Ujjayi breath is when you restrict how the air passes in and out of your throat. So when you breathe in and out, you should hear something that sounds like a wave rolling in and out from the beach. Ideally, this practice of just conscious breathing could be practiced for 5-10 minutes. However, I know a lot of people are short of time, so I'm going to continue. If you wish to carry on breathing, pause the video, breathe, get further into your meditation. So now you can open your eyes, make sure that you're comfortable on the chair, and I want you to feel that your sit bones are rooted through the chair. And we're going to do a kind of a loose variation of a sun salutation. So here in your seated position, we're going to be thinking about opening through the shoulders and the chest and also starting to stretch the back. Now if you've got a little bit of extra weight or you've got some bulk in front of you that gets a little bit in the way, you might want to open your knees a little bit wider. That's absolutely fine, no problem at all. So with your next inhalation, bring your hands up towards the sky and open through your chest. And as you exhale, keep reaching your hands forwards, but fold at your hips like a hinge. As you inhale, reach up. And as you exhale, hands down by the sides. Really push the hands away, try and get the stretch through the chest and shoulders. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, rotate through the pelvis, reach forwards with the hands. Try and keep the back flat. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands out towards the side, strong shoulders, spread the fingers. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold at the hips, reach forwards. Inhale, reach up, push through the feet to help the lift. And as you exhale, hands out down towards the sides. Inhale, reach up. And as you exhale, reach forwards. This time a little change. Inhale, pause here. And as you exhale, now allow your back to round so your head comes down towards the floor and also the hands. With your next inhalation, unroll all the way up. This time allow your spine to unravel. Exhale, hands down by the sides of your hips. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, reach all the way forwards and down. Inhale, all the way up, big circle through the shoulders, stretch the arms and chest. Exhale, reach all the way forwards and then down. Inhale, reach all the way forwards and up. Exhale, hands down by the sides. Bring your hands to your quadriceps, and now a few rotations through your shoulders. Try and free any tension that you feel in your neck or the muscles surrounding the front and back and your shoulders. You can change direction. Should feel like a little bit of a massage with the side of your neck, your trapezius muscle. Really try and make the circles as big as possible. So now, I want you to bring your feet in line with your hips if they're not already there, and I want you to have your hands on tops of your knees. So we're going to do seated cat-cow. Quite often this is a problem for people with bad knees when we do it on the mat, but here sat down it shouldn't be any problem. So you're going to gently grip your knees. It might be your quadriceps. And with your next inhalation, I want you to try and feel how your pelvis rotates forwards, your belly button goes forwards, you open through your chest and you look up towards the sky. Spend a couple of breaths here. So this is cow. So you're opening through your chest, you're trying to draw your shoulders away from your ears, you're trying to bring your belly button forward. And with your next exhalation, allow your back to go behind you, straighten the arms. Imagine that you're going to bend down and curve to kiss your belly button. So if you find that you touch the back of the chair very easily, then shuffle your weight a little bit forward to give you a little bit more space. Continue to breathe. Really try and turn on the abdominal muscles, trying to push the lower spine backwards, head down. Now we're going to flow between these two positions. So as you inhale, allow your pelvis to roll forward. You feel how the weight shifts onto the front edge of your sit bones. Look up. And as you exhale, the opposite. Roll back onto the back edge of your sit bones. Head goes down towards your belly button. Big curve in the spine. Inhale, unroll, weight goes forward. Open through the heart, shoulders back. Exhale, roll back. Really move with your breath. Keep moving. Don't wait for my instructions. You're gently changing between these two positions, trying to stay controlled and engaged. Feeling how your abdominal muscles work in partnership with your lumbar spine to really get you opening in the back and the front body. So nice and gentle, come back towards a neutral position. So our neutral position is our shoulders located above our hips, the crown of our head above our coccyx, and we're gently engaging through our core to try and keep our spine straight. And now you can bring your hands back and hold either the back of the chair or the seat of the chair, anywhere that gives you a little bit of stability, and come a tiny little bit further forward. So you feel that your sit bones are almost off the edge of the chair. So now what we're going to do is we're really going to brace through our core, and we're going to turn on our quads and our hip flexors. So to start, we're going to come up onto tiptoes. So here on tiptoes, if you feel like your toes are very far forward, take the chance to just slide your toes back a little bit so you feel like you might be able to get a bit higher onto your tiptoes. Now you're going to need to turn on through your arms and brace a little bit your energy on the back of the chair. And with your next inhale, straighten the right leg. As you exhale, soften. Left leg. Straighten. Bend. Inhale, straighten the right. Exhale, bend the right. Inhale, left. Exhale, lower. So keep moving with your breath. You alternate side to side. Try and keep your toes pointed the whole time. So what that's doing is that stretching a little bit the top of your feet and your tibial muscles, and it's also activating and engaging your calf muscles. So you're moving nice and slow between these two positions. You're trying to keep your back and your hips square and strong. You should be feeling a little bit of work in your abdominal muscles. The next time you come back with both of your feet on the floor, pause, lower your heels, move your legs out and in just a little bit, release any tension. You might want to move the back just a little bit also. So now we're going to do both legs at the same time. If it feels too much, then just do one leg at a time again. So just start, come up onto your tiptoes. Again, if you feel like you're too far forwards, then bring your toes a little bit under. Really now try and engage through the core and hold your chair. Brace with your arms, and as you inhale, straighten both legs. As you exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Keep moving with your breath. You should be feeling the strength in the quadriceps, in the hip flexors, and also maybe not the strength, but at least the stability in your core. So you're helping with your arms. If you pull against the chair, it gives you a stronger platform to be able to lift your legs out in front of you. So this could get tiring quite quickly. Remember, you can always take breaks. You can always do it one leg individually again. That's also not a problem. But I want you to get to a position where you're really starting to feel that your quadriceps are working. Next time, bring both of your feet back down towards the floor. And now I want you to inhale just the right foot forwards. This time leave all of your left foot on the floor. So you brace a little bit with your arms and you're trying to lift your right knee as high as you can, but keep your back long. Try not to lean back in the chair. This is cheating. Keep your shoulders above your hips. You should feel the strength in your quad and your hip flexor. You might be here, that's absolutely fine. Go with your range of motion, what feels the best level for you. Breathe. Push your left foot through the floor to keep the platform. And as you exhale, gently lower. So now we're going to stretch out a little bit our quadricep and hip flexor. So I want you to shuffle out towards the right edge of the chair. So your right sit bone is off the edge of the chair, but your left sit bone stays on. Now we're going to lift that right foot a little bit and take hold of the right ankle. So this might be enough. If you need a little bit further, allow that right knee to come backwards. Try and open a little bit through your chest and feel like you're trying to get some stretch through your quadricep and hip flexor. Your left hand, you might feel more stable, more comfortable if you keep hold of the chair. What I really want you to feel is a stretch in your quads, maybe in the top of the foot. If you can't reach your foot with your hand, then you can use a strap or a blanket or a towel, or maybe even just hold your shin. Whatever feels good, whatever gives you a nice sensation of opening and stretch on the right side of your body. Three, 2, and 1. Nice and soft, nice and calm. Release that right foot back down on towards the mat. Now shuffle yourself back into the center of the chair. And now with your feet separated hip width, this time all of the right foot stays on the floor, the same as we did with the other leg. We're going to straighten the left leg out in front. So remember, you're trying to get that left leg as high as you can, but you're keeping your spine long. You're not leaning backwards. So you can hold the chair to help. Remember, you might be here. That's absolutely fine. You might even just be here. That's also cool. Go with your height. Go with what your muscles, what your range of mobility allows. As long as you feel that you're engaging your quadriceps and you're starting to feel that sensation of effort in the muscles on the top of your left leg, you're doing the perfect thing. Make sure you're breathing, pushing the right foot through the floor. If the leg starts to shake a little bit, that's good. That means there's something active happening. As you exhale, gently lower that left foot down towards the floor. And again, same as we did before, we're going to shuffle out towards the left-hand side. So I want you to have now your right sit bone just on the edge of the chair and your left sit bone is hanging just off. Right hand can stay on the chair for a little bit more support and stability and lift your left foot. Now you can take hold of your left foot, your left ankle, your left toes, and we're going to bring the heel in towards the glute to try and get a nice stretch in the top of your left leg. So for me, the top of the left leg includes the hip flexor, which are the muscles just here at the crease of the hip, which helps lift your leg, your quadricep, which is the big muscle that runs from your hip to your knee, and maybe a little bit on the internal side of the knee as well. So keep breathing, keep opening, try and keep your core and your stability along your chest. For 3, 2, and 1. Nice and calm, nice and soft. Bring that left foot down towards the floor. Shuffle yourselves back in towards the center. Move your legs a little bit. Do whatever feels good just to get rid of any tension in the knees or in the legs or in the shoulders or the neck. And now nice and soft, nice and gentle. I want you to start to lift your right leg. So lifting your right leg, this time we're going to take hold of the knee with the right hand and the foot with the left hand. If you can't hold your foot, you can just hold the top of your right leg as well. This is also absolutely fine. But if you can take hold of your foot, then you're holding your foot and your knee and you're massaging your right hip. So you're moving in circles with your right leg. You can change direction. As opposed to a really big stretch here, I want you to feel like you're getting mobility, like you're massaging the inside of your hip socket. You're stimulating the synovial fluid, which is inside your joint. It's like the oil, which is inside your joint, which keeps them nice and fluid. You're also stimulating the synovial membrane, which increases how much synovial fluid will be in there, in that joint. So you're moving, you're nice and fluid, you're trying to find your full range of mobility, be it out to the side or crossing in front. Really just what feels good, getting that hip moving. Now come back towards the center, and I want you to place your right ankle on top of your left leg. So if that's too much, you might straighten your leg a little bit, and that might give you a little bit more ease to do it, but be careful with your left knee. But what I want us to achieve now is a nice stretch in the right glute. So with your leg crossed on top, you have two options. I would suggest that option number 1 would be to slowly fold forwards, bringing both of your shoulders down towards your knee and your ankle to get a big stretch in your right glute, working to try and keep your spine long. Now there's a chance that that might not work for you. If that doesn't work for you for whatever reason, maybe your knee hurts or maybe there's too much weight through the left leg, then maybe you could lift that foot and knee up towards the chest, working strong to try and keep your back straight. So wherever you are, either here with your arm coming up towards your chest or in a little bit more of a forward fold, I want you to be feeling the stretch around the outside of your right hip. For 3, 2, and 1. Nice and steady, no rush. Come up, and we're going to place that right foot back down on the floor. So now, same deal, but on the left leg. So your right leg is strong, your right knee is above your right ankle, and we're going to lift that left leg. Remember, if you can't hold your foot, then just hold the top of your leg. You can still move big circles here with holding the top of your leg, perfectly fine. Hold your left knee and your left foot, and now increase a little bit the sort of the mobility in that hip, the range of motion that you've got inside your hip socket. You're going to be moving nice and slow from the left to the right. You're dropping your knee, you're lifting your knee. You're trying to move in all directions, seeing if you feel anywhere that there's particular tension or something that feels particularly tight. You can be a little bit more dynamic with your upper body, but try not to collapse and sort of flump back on the chair. So now, cross that left leg on top of your right. So the ankle is somewhere near the quadricep. It might be a little bit more open or a little bit more closed, whatever works for you and whatever feels comfortable and achievable. And remember, all we want to do now is get a nice big stretch in our left glute. So it could be as simple as just a little lean out towards the right, or you might want to really fold forwards, try and keep your spine straight, connecting with your breath. Or if neither of those two work, you might just draw your leg up towards your chest, your foot to your shoulder and your knee to your shoulder. Wherever works for you to get a nice sensation of stretch in the outside of your left hip. Wherever you are, make sure that you're breathing and make sure that your spine is long. Slow motion, nice and careful, nice and steady. Start to come up. And now gently place that left foot down on the floor. So I said today is mostly about the legs, but now we're going to do something which is a little bit more focused on the shoulders, but we're going to add something that will give you a little bit extra for your legs. So I want you to hold the sides of your chair. Not the very front edge of the chair, not the very back, somewhere in the middle of the seat of the chair. And with strong arms, I gently want you to start to sort of shuffle your bum onto the front edge of the chair and straighten your legs. So you could almost feel like you're going to hang off the edge of the chair. And now with your legs nice and straight, what I want you to do is I want you to try and lift your hips and lower the toes at the same time. So you push through the chair, you're going to feel an opening through the shoulders, through the chest. So really try and feel you're pushing your toes through down towards the mat. You're squeezing your shoulder blades together and you're being nice and strong to open through your heart. If this is too much, bend your knees and it will make it much easier, much less strenuous on your arms because you can support more weight with your legs bent. If that's still too much, then bring your feet closer towards the chair. But what I want you to feel is an opening through the front of your chest and through your sternum. If you do have your legs straight, then really work on pushing the toes through the floor. You're going to be strengthening the calf and you're going to be strengthening the hamstrings. For 3, 2, and 1. Nice and calm. Bring yourselves to come back down to seat on the chair. Release any tension that may have developed in the shoulders. And now I want you to shuffle forward again. So your sit bones, now that the sit bones are firmly on the chair this time, but you're feeling that your hamstrings are hanging off the front of the chair. And now we're gently going to start to open our legs out towards the sides. So I want you to keep moving with your feet, gently, slowly, softly out to one side, then out towards either side individually, so you start to feel that nice big stretch here through the front of your groin. So we're working to try and keep our spine straight. Try and resist the temptation to fold forwards. So you're bringing your belly button and your spine in one straight line. The coccyx is the base of the position and the crown is what you can imagine as the peak of the position. So you're trying to make that mountain as tall as possible. You can help with your arms to gently open through the center of your legs, but don't let your arms do all of the work. Try and engage, turn on through your back body so you can imagine that you're trying to bring your bum cheeks towards each other, which will help to open the knees out towards the side. Keep the feet tracking in the same direction as the legs. And now what I really want you to try and do is imagine that the chair wasn't there. So push your feet through the floor. Imagine that you were going to stand up. So you're going to be in this position standing or with a tiny little bit of weight on the chair, whatever feels good, but push your feet through the floor. Maybe you do just lift off a tiny little bit, but you've always got the chair there for a bit of support. You can keep your hands on your legs. What I'm interested in is you're opening the groin and you're strengthening the back of your glutes. So you're nice and tall, you're nice and open through the chest. For 3, 2, and 1. Slowly start to release. Sit yourselves down. If you came up, sit yourselves down. So now we're going to keep our legs in the same position. We're going to start nice and soft. I want you to place your right elbow on your right knee. And then you're going to lift that left hand up towards the sky and start to reach out towards the side. So you're trying to keep both sides of your body long. So don't just collapse. Try and reach, try and extend, try and touch the wall to the side of you with that left hand. Now, if you feel like you go a little bit further, if you want a little bit deeper stretch, you can also gently start to lower that right hand down towards the floor on the inside of the foot. You're using your right arm to try and help keep your alignment with the right leg. You're increasing the distance between your left hand and your left knee to get that big stretch through the left side of your body. For 3, 2, and 1. Nice and gentle, come back up. And as you exhale, left elbow out towards the left knee. So now you're going to feel the opening across the front of your chest here. And we're going to start to reach that right hand up and start to lean out towards that left hand side. This might be enough. You could be here, you could be feeling an intense stretch through the right side of your body, and that's super cool, that's fabulous. You stay there and you keep breathing. You keep extending, turning on the left side of your body to not collapse. If you feel like you want a little bit extra, like we did on the other side, you can bring that left hand a little bit further down. So both of your legs are still strong. You're trying to feel that your feet are active through the floor. You're not just kind of letting all of your weight collapse into the chair. For 3, 2, and 1. Nice and calm. Slowly start to come back up towards the center. And now bring your feet back towards the middle of the mat. Roll your shoulders. Feel comfortable. Release any tension. And now, warriors. So we're going to start by turning to the right. So I want you to turn all of your body out towards the right hand side. And then I want you to shuffle to the edge of the chair so that your right hip, your right sit bone is on the chair, but your left hip and your left sit bone is off. We're going to start with Warrior 1. To start, I want you to make sure that you've got your ankle below your right knee and that your right foot is active through the floor. You can use your hands on the back of the chair or on your leg to help be comfortable to come into the position, but now you're going to bring your left leg back. What I want you to do is I want you to have a little bit of width between your feet. So you can imagine that your feet are still spread at the distance of the width of your hips. So with your left leg going back, straightening, you're then going to push your left hip forwards and rotate your upper body. So you're pushing your back through the floor and you're going to feel a stretch on the inside of the left leg. You're strong with your right leg. This is another one of those poses where I want you to imagine that the chair wasn't there. So imagine that you were pushing away and you were lifting yourselves off the chair. What to do with your hands? You can have your hands at heart center. If that feels cool and you want a bit extra for your lower back, you can reach your hands up towards the sky. Imagine you are holding a lunchbox or a book between your hands. Really strong in the back leg. You're trying to straighten the back leg. Push the foot through the floor. Your right leg stays strong. With your next exhalation, nice and gentle, bring your hands down. Look out towards your left-hand side. So now we're going to think about Warrior 2. So for Warrior 2, I want you to bring your left leg a little bit further back to make more of a straight line between both of your heels. So you're trying to keep your shoulders above your hips. You're opening through the front of your heart. Draw your arms up towards the sides, horizontal, spread your fingers, and then look over that front hand. So you're working in the back of your hip like we did in our goddess pose a few moments ago to try and keep your knee above your ankle. You're not leaning forwards and you're not reaching back. You're somewhere in the center, trying to keep your spine in a nice, strong, straight line. So remember, again, you're pushing the floor away. Imagine the chair wasn't there. Imagine you were supporting the weight with your legs. Spread the fingers. Increase the distance between the two hands to get the stretch across the front of the chest and in your elbows and your forearms. For 3, 2, and 1. Nice and soft. Release the arms. And then carefully bring your left leg once again back forwards. Turn yourselves to sit on the chair in the center again. If you've got any tension, anything that feels stiff now or not very comfortable, just loosen up. Free that position. And now this time, we're going to turn towards the left. So in terms of how far you are in the chair, I would suggest having your sit bone somewhere on the center of the chair. And now we're going to shuffle the right sit bone off the edge of the chair. And we're going to start to gently bring that right leg back. So remember, for Warrior 1, we want to have our feet at hip width. And that allows us to roll our hips forwards. So now you're strong in your left leg. You're trying to feel that you're pushing the floor away with your right foot so you can really bring your right hip forward. You should be getting the stretch on the inside of your right leg. You're trying to keep your shoulders above your hips. Remember, with your arms, you can have hands heart center. You can reach the hands up towards the sky, whatever feels good. Imagine the chair was not there. Try and push your feet through the floor. Imagine you were supporting your weight with your legs. And breathe. For 3, 2, and 1. Now nice and calm, bring your hands down, look towards your back foot. Now if you can, if it feels comfortable, try and bring your right leg a little bit further back to try and get a nice straight line between both of your heels. So now the big difference in Warrior 2 is that we're trying to open our hips. So you're trying to keep your left knee above your ankle, but at the same time you're drawing your right hip back. Remember, our body is square. It's aligned with both of our legs. So you're pushing weight through the back leg, your hips are above your shoulders are above your hips, your arms reach out towards the side, and then if it feels good, you look over that front hand. Remember, imagine you're trying to support your weight. So your legs are turned on, you're strengthening your legs. Three, 2, and 1. Nice and calm, nice and chill. Come back towards the center. Release the legs. Any tension, anything that feels uncomfortable, now is the time to get rid of it. So we've just done Warrior 1 and Warrior 2, so now we're going to do Warrior 3. So now we're going to stand up. You can bring yourself to a position looking towards the chair. And I want you to stand away from the chair about 1/2 meter. And then gently start to fold forward. So you can have your hands on the chair. What I want you to try and feel is that your spine is horizontal. So for my height and the height of this chair, that means that I come down onto my elbows and my forearms. It might be different for you. You might need a block or a blanket. You might want to maybe just stay up with your straight arms. That's absolutely fine. But I want you to feel somewhere where you're trying to get a flat back. I want you to have a very gentle bend in your knees. So your knees aren't locked out, they're not dead straight. And now what I want you to do, trying to keep your back nice and straight, is lift the right leg behind you. So it could come up to here, that might be it, and that's absolutely fine. But if you can, try and lift that right leg to look for a horizontal line. So you should be feeling the strength in the back of the right leg to lift, and maybe a bit of stretch in your left leg. Remember, you've got that little bend in your left knee. Now I want you to try and imagine that the chair wasn't there. So imagine that you were supporting your weight through your leg and you could lift your upper body away from the chair. You've always got the chair there for support, so you don't need to feel unstable, you don't need to feel like you're going to fall over, but imagine that you were lifting your weight away from that chair. So really turning on through the right glute, you're trying to make your right leg super long. You can have your foot in flex or your foot extended. I don't really mind, whatever feels better for you. But strong, trying to lift that right leg out behind you. Keep the hips square. For 3, 2, and 1. Nice and chill, nice and soft. Bring that right foot down towards the floor. Massage a little bit your hips, release any tension, release anything that doesn't feel good. If you feel like you need to straighten your back for a second and move your neck, that's absolutely fine before we go to the next side. So now, again, remember, you've got that tiny little bend in your knees. You're trying to feel that your back is engaged, so you've got a nice straight line between your coccyx and the crown of your head. So now, this time, left leg out behind you. Right leg is strong, pushing the floor away, and you're lifting that left leg as high as you can. Try and keep your discipline. So you're going to keep your hips square. You're going to feel the stretch in the right hip and the back of the right leg. You're going to feel the strength in the left leg. You're trying to lift, lift, lift. And again, as we did on the other side, try and imagine that the chair wasn't there. Imagine that you're supporting the weight just with your right leg on the floor. You might be able to come up just touching the chair with a fingertip. That might be enough. Do what feels good for you, as long as you're feeling the strength to lift that left leg. That's where we're working now, hamstrings and glutes, and also in your lumbar spine to keep your back straight. For 3, 2, and 1. Carefully and steady, place that left foot back down on the floor. So now release any tension that you've got in your hips. And I want you to take hold of the edge of your chair. And now from here, very soft and slow, start to walk your feet backwards, gently lowering your chest and straightening further through your arms. For our chair variation of downward dog. So to make it feel similar to downward dog, really try and rotate your pelvis forwards. So imagine that you're trying to bring your belly button down between your legs. So you're rotating on top of your femur bone. Again, a gentle bend in your knee is all good. If it feels too much or it feels too strong, you can have a little bend in your knees, or you could walk yourselves a little bit closer to the chair. Wherever you are, try and make sure that you're feeling the stretch in the back of the legs and the strength in your upper body supporting a little bit of weight through your arms. For 3, 2, and 1. Nice and soft, nice and chill. Start to let your weight come forward and slowly walk your feet back in towards the chair. Now you can sit yourselves back down on your chairs. Nice long straight spine. Rotate through your shoulders. If you've built up any tension during downward dog or the warriors, you can get rid of that now. Make sure the neck feels nice and loose. So now what I want you to do is I want you to turn your legs again out towards the right hand side. So this time you can keep both of your sit bones on the chair so you feel nice and stable, you feel nice and controlled. And we're going to finish with a nice gentle twist. So to start the twist, you can bring your left hand towards the back of the chair and then gently start to turn to look over the back of the chair. If that feels nice, you can continue to turn, maybe bringing your left shoulder a little bit further towards the back of the chair, nice and tall. If you feel very comfortable and you want some extra opening through the chest, you could bring your right hand behind your back and maybe look for the top of your left leg. So be strong and be tall. Using your left arm on the back of the chair, your right arm could be on the back of the chair or it could be behind your back, making sure you're getting a nice twisting spin sensation along your spine. So every inhale you grow, you try and straighten your spine. Every exhale you twist an extra millimeter. For 3, 2, and 1. Slowly, no rush. Start to turn back towards the center. And then in your own time, make yourselves towards the other side. So again, make sure you're comfortable. Remember, engage, so you're keeping the crown above the coccyx and you're nice and tall. Now, with your hands, bring your hands towards the back of the chair and gently start to turn to look over your left shoulder. Keep your feet engaged through the floor. You're trying to keep your feet more or less at hip width and your knees at hip width. You're only trying to rotate through your back, not through your pelvis. So you can be taller on every inhale and every exhale. Maybe you turn that extra millimeter. As we did on the other side, if it feels good, you can bring your left hand maybe behind your back. It might give you a little bit more opening through the left of your shoulder. Try not to let your arms do all of the work. Try and feel that energy, that strength along your back, also helping to get the twist. Breathe. No rush, take your time, slowly start to untwist. So now we're going to find our chair relaxation. So you have a few options. You could lay down in a regular savasana or any other comfortable seated position. If you do want to stay up in your chair, now I would suggest to slide back on the chair and feel that your back is supported by the back of the chair. Try and feel that your shoulders draw away from your ears. And try and be as soft as you can. Try not to slump because that will stop your breathing, but do the minimum effort possible just to stay in a comfortable but stable seated position. Try and let the energy come out of your face. Don't push your tongue in towards your teeth. Let your eyes close. Relax your legs. You might want to straighten the legs just a little bit. Do whatever feels comfortable for you. Anywhere that you can be as relaxed and as turned off as possible. So in an ideal situation, you would stay here for up to 5-10 minutes. Whatever you can afford, whatever you can dedicate to. I'm going to say goodbye. You stay where you are feeling stable and comfortable for as long as you can. An absolute pleasure as always. If you ever have any requests, if you would like to see anything particular from a class, then please let me know. I am open to suggestion. I love hearing your ideas. Namaste.